Hi YouTube, Clutchy Bogmarsh here on another morning Rambles video. So there's 2 mornings in a row that I've abruptly woken up. And I mean out of like dead sleep, be dreaming and wake up. And yesterday was like at 4:30, and today it's like 3:22 is what it was when I picked my phone up. Okay. But it was weird. I abruptly woke up from this dream, which I guess happens sometimes, but in this in this dream I found it really strange. I had to lay here and think about it for a minute to decide if I even wanted to say this. And I'm not going to tell you the whole dream or nothing like that, but I found it really weird because, I'm 31 years old, and for as long as I can remember in my dreams, I've never been able to physically hurt anyone. And I've tried, like random fights, things of that nature. And it never worked, and I've heard other people say that before, and I don't know if you have that problem or not in your dreams. If you feel like being brave enough, put it down. Tell me about an experience where maybe you haven't been able to, or you have. But I found it really strange that, weird dreams are kind of weird sometimes. Sometimes they're kind of fluid, and sometimes they're like little segments. It just kind of depends. But I found myself, you'll find this weird, with my mom in the bathroom trying to get someone out of the bathtub. Now, I've obviously, my mom and I, we both felt something for this person, but I couldn't quite make out who it was. But out of nowhere, I started getting attacked. Like it was like somebody was trying to prevent me from just helping this person that was having a nervous breakdown virtually. I mean, they were like in the shower, like curled up in the fetal position in the corner virtually. And they just kept coming after me. And as many times as I, tried to push them away and get them to stop, eventually, I guess to use the words, I had to fight back. But the problem is we were in such an enclosed space that once I got a hold of this person, and I knew the person that I went after, like knew that person, and actually that person doesn't live that far away from me, but I started, like, I finally got a hold of this person, and I know I shouldn't be proud of this, and I'm not, but I found it so weird that I was trying to help somebody in a nervous breakdown, and it was actually, like, the first time that I could physically hurt someone in a dream. It's strange. But I got a hold of this person, and I started, like, pushing him, like, banging him into the toilet. Toilets are porcelain and stuff like that. And this is where it gets really weird. I'm like banging this person into the toilet to the point to where this person didn't look like the person in the shower, but when I finally got the person attacking me to quit, when I turned back around, somehow the person that was attacking me was the person that was having the panic attack in the shower, the nervous breakdown in the shower. And I didn't kill the person, which is good, but I did hurt him really bad. And dreams are weird. Dreams are weird. And I don't know, I just found it so strange that I was trying to help someone, so I got attacked for it. And then hurt that person, but then that person wound up being the person in the shower, I'll be honest with you, some of the ideas and the concepts that I've been proposing to the world in the way that I've been talking, I understand it may be a lot to take in. You may have a hard time understanding it. You may be looking at it as this is going to change your world in a way that you may not be comfortable with. And I'm fully aware of that. And I've thought about all those things. Those types of thoughts are part of the reason I believe that I'm having these kinds of thoughts, people. It's not that I want to cause harm in the world in any way, shape, form, or fashion. If anything, I'm trying to make the world better. And you may be like, well, why do we need to make the world better? Because that's what immediately popped into my head. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like the one that I did yesterday, the morning rambles video that I did yesterday. And I was talking about how, controlling the past can control the future, and if you control the future, you can control the past or the present. I feel like these are concepts that are known in higher circles. I really do. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I can't have all the answers in the world. I can only bring in so much information at one time. I can't just get information out of thin air 24/7. Like, my human brain just can't process like that. I know it never shuts down, but it does have to relax a little bit. It can't be like clocking your CPU and your gaming computer 24/7 and expect it to last. So there's that. But I understand some of the things that I'm proposing are difficult to take in. Even I've had a hard time taking these in. Just some of the things that I have talked about, and my brother watched it happen right before his eyes. I was just talking to him about this kind of stuff one day, and mid-sentence, and I was on one of the most amazing conscious streams of thought that I could ever think about. Like, I felt like there was no hiccup anywhere until somehow, some way, for some reason, I stopped mid-sentence and had a panic attack that lasted for like, I don't know, 30 minutes probably. To the point that my big old, like, 6-foot tall brother, like 280-pound brother, had to get up and give me a big old man hug because I was bawling my eyes out in front of him, and it made him cry. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, it happens sometimes. It's just like, I watched this guy. I don't know if he'd want me to say his name, so I'm not going to, nor his channel, but let's just say he works within the manosphere. And sorry, works within the manosphere, if that's what you want to call it. But I even told him, he was talking about, guys and stuff like that, and I don't remember how he put it, but what I told him is, sometimes men, you shouldn't be looked down on for crying from time to time. Now, if you're an emotional little bitch all the time, I'm sorry, that's a completely different story. And in a way, I kind of have been here lately, but this big old boy had to get up and give me a hug. But if you don't let that kind of stuff out, fellas, I mean, really let that kind of stuff out, it turns into rage, and rage can make you do things that would scare your mother away from you. And, you may not... Sorry, folks. Too many cigarettes. And I smoke filterless cigarettes, so that's horrible in itself. But rage, I think Yoda had some quote about rage and blah, blah, blah. But rage will destroy this world. Rage will. Which is why we have to figure out some way to get back to some semblance of what life was when we were happier as a world. Obviously there's something going on in this world, and if you're of faith, that's fine. You could be like, this is the devil's world and blah blah blah. But I think those, in my opinion, they're all just ideas and concepts that have been implemented. I'm not saying stop praying. Thank you for having faith in something like that, and praying and putting good energy out into the world for the people that need it. That's all, in my opinion, prayer really breaks down to, folks. You're just putting positive energy and asking, the Creator, in my opinion, okay, and you may not agree with me, but I definitely believe in a higher power. And until this past year, I was very up in the air about faith and spirituality. Well, not even go into religion, but I was very up in the air about this stuff. But just this past year, which people were always trying to tell me, go get a job, read books, quit shaming people for caring about money more than they do, human rights and their brethren. And I understand not everybody can be there. And if you have a legit reason, like you might lose your job, or, there's family things that are going on, or hell, maybe you just don't have the money to go. Those are all legitimate reasons, in my opinion. But we won't go there. I digress a little bit, I guess I'll say. But there's a lot going on, and that's why I call this morning rambles, because it kind of bounces back and forth. It's 3:30 in the morning, and I'm still laying here, and but I was really up in the air about religion, guys. Until, and you'll find this strange. My mom was a little worried about me, and she was trying to convince me to go to the hospital. She was like, you might have a tumor or something like that. Well, I started getting weird headaches. And they were, people, and I've looked up headaches. There's like 3 or 4 different kinds. I'm not going to go into all of that, and I don't even remember all the details. Some are just basics, basic little headaches where, the blood flow to your head is just kind of restricted a little bit. And hell, that could be my body trying to tell me maybe I got like heart disease or something from smoking all these filterless cigarettes my whole life. Because I've definitely smoked more filterless cigarettes than I have filtered cigarettes. So there's that. But it makes my head hurt a little bit just talking about this. But I was getting these weird headaches. People say that your brain can't feel, but I was getting these headaches, these pressure headaches in my brain, I guess, and that's not technically how it works, but it felt like just certain little parts of my brain were pushing against my skull a little bit more, maybe the what is it, symbiotic fluid or whatever that it floats in was just pressurizing because of stress or whatever. But that's when I started having some of these spiritual thoughts and feelings and like ideas about time and consciousness and all these things. I had some before that, but this is when it really started getting to be one of those points in which, I was even starting to get worried. Like, I literally suffered for almost 2 months straight in like October and November with a headache that just never quit. And then on top of that, my ears were ringing. Sometimes they were ringing more, or not, I shouldn't say more, but louder than other times. And it literally went on for like 2 months straight. Like, I talked to my family about it, and I told my mom, and I hope she understands this, but that, she wanted me to go to the doctor, but I'm so afraid that if I did, I was so afraid that if I went to the doctor to get this looked at, that they may do something to my head, and some of these great and wonderful feelings and thoughts and emotions that I've been experiencing here lately would go away. And the possibility for this type of thinking and information that, take it for what you will, which, like I said, it's a lot to take in, but would go away. And maybe I wouldn't be not trying, but maybe I wouldn't be living, my higher purpose. Maybe this is all just part of who I am. And I guess if you believe in numbers control certain things, but I guess, dare I say, and not sound like a wacko, but destiny of some shape, form, or fashion, and not even intentionally seeking it out, but because I took a stand in the way that I did, then it put me on this path. But by looking into numerology more, I didn't know about the names, but I knew birthdays were significant and stuff like that. And I won't go into the details of it, but yeah, I don't know how much I want to get into that right now, but I'll tell you this, I put in that video the hard things, and the fact that Washington D.C.'s an hour and 42 minutes away from Richmond. Okay? And whether you believe in numerology or whether you believe in, the creator and angels and demons, this is a universal thing that I'm fixing to say right here. It's unisex. It affects both men and women. All right. 142. So 42 is always an angelic number. All right. And the first number indicates a specific thing. 142 symbols, apparently, according to some numerology pages, people that have studied this kind of stuff and carried this knowledge from the past to the future, so we have it in the present. All right. It's about finding balance. 142 is about finding balance between your personal life and your work life. It's work can be and live, but not to the point to where that's destroying your life. And I'll be honest with you, 142 is not one of the angelic numbers that I see all the time. I just found it coincidental that Richmond and Washington, D.C. are only an hour and 42 minutes away. And with the way that I think, maybe I didn't necessarily go about it the best way on the internet. But that doesn't mean that the information that I was telling you, I don't feel is any less true about this situation. But obviously, I'm not going to get to make it there. There are people that are trying to tell me that I just need to shut up and go get a job and blah, 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 blah. But I think it's past that. I think the way that I was living beforehand just doesn't work. For me, it's not part of who I'm supposed to be. And that's why it's caused some problems in my life, people. But I'm also just, which is, I shouldn't say it like that, but I'm going to. I'm also just, like I said in one of my videos, the math video, I'm just a guy with a GED that didn't even finish 1 year of a community college. That's it. With no money. I'm losing my house, which is fine. I did it to myself in a way, but I have my reasonings, and that's all that matters. See, that's the thing. Y'all think that I'm just like refusing to go back to work because I'm, too proud to change or blah blah blah. But that has nothing to do with it. Like, yes, and look, even the last job that I quit, I told that man I'm not the easiest to work with. He said, okay, that's fine. All right. I also told him I will not take bullshit in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And when that man pretty much called me a piece of shit because I know too much to my face twice, I said, is this really worth my time? And I thought about that. All right. For overnight. Slept on that. Thought about it while I slept. Went in there and gave him a notice. Alright. That man tried to intimidate me on my last day there by cleaning his pistol in the shop. And then the guy proceeded to try and lock my toolbox up in the shop before I could get it out and into my vehicle on my last day when I gave him a good notice. Most mechanics leave that day. I still gave him Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then a full week after that so he could find a person. And then he tried to use a gun and a boy that him and the neighborhood have been just absolutely using the shit out of his entire life. And I tried to tell this boy, and he started kind of thinking about it. But this man proceeded to try and not pay me my money on that end Friday. And when I got upset with him, after all that intimidating with the gun and everything like that, he sent the boy after me because the boy opened his mouth and put him into my financial business. And instead of getting into it with this guy that drinks too much and smokes too many cigarettes, I mean, I seen him drink one bottle of water, and it took me like fucking 30 or 45 minutes to convince him to drink it. And that was all the water I'd ever seen this dude drink. But he actually drank it, which was good. But, so I just left. And I came back that Monday because he told me he'd pay me on Monday. I don't have the money to pay you, because he was trying to get me to come back in on Monday. Well, we had also taken off like 2 or 3 hours early throughout that last week. You know, he'd be like, all right, it's 4 o'clock. We're going to shut down today, boys. Well, I showed up. I was there before he got there to get my money, and he proceeded to try to pay me my full week's pay. But there was those couple of hours that we were off early, so I gave him the money back, and I just kept the correct amount of money that was owed to me, and I walked out. All right? If you think that that kind of treatment is acceptable, and that it's my fault that I can't keep a job, all right, maybe, just maybe, you need to reflect on your own life, because no good business owner person should ever do something like that to an individual. And I know I was talking about hurting someone in my dream and stuff like that, but that right there is it's a metaphor. It was a metaphor that my brain created because of some of the things that I'm doing and the way that they could shape and change things. In my opinion, there was a metaphor of the anger and rage, but the harm at the same time, and the hurt that people, and the confusion that some people may be feeling from what I've been saying, and just the concept of time that I've concocted using mathematics. And yeah, if you haven't checked that video out, check the math video out, and you'll see what I'm saying. So just I'll be honest with you. I know it's not necessarily the greatest for my brain to just like wake up out of like a REM style sleep, or coming out of a REM style sleep like that. But I'll say this, other than it being a little windy outside, your mind is very clear of what it's thinking about, especially when it's really dark. It's quiet outside, and as I say that, a car drives by. I'm like, oh, it's quiet outside. Vroom, car. But honestly, and you may find this nutso, and that's fine. But not only is it quiet outside, it's it's almost like I can only, and as I'm saying this, it's changing, but it's almost like it's because I'm admitting it. It's almost like I can only hear my thoughts. I really legitimately feel like I can hear other people's thoughts sometimes. Alright? I know that sounds strange, and I don't mean to be prying, but, with my ideas of consciousness, and the way the collective consciousness, how that whole thing works is we're all tied together, people. And this whole concept behind your brain lies to you, I guess, is plausible if the people around you are lying to you. But when you sit in your home and you can almost feel the different emotions as people drive by, some are, just fuck you. Some are, and you may think that this is like, I don't know I don't want to use the word hypocritical, but that's the first word that came to my mind for some reason. Or egotistical, maybe a better one, but I literally feel like there are people that drive past my house sometimes just so they can be in my presence. But then there are also people that drive by here that I feel like are just absolutely on a go fuck yourself. You're too weird. Shit like that. And then there are people that drive past my house that are like so neutral that it makes me think that they are just, no matter how much they're trying to present themselves as, a good upstanding member of society, they're mentally and emotionally torn on the inside about this world and the fact that they have to do things that they don't want to do. And not that they don't want to do them, but they're being forced to do them against their will. And they know that. And they don't know what to do about it. It was like I was listening to this guy talk on a video, and he's pretty funny, but he makes some points, in my opinion. And I literally was sitting there listening to this man talk. And I told him, the red pill is in your hands, sir. Because he was talking about The Bachelor. That show, The Bachelor. I told him, the red pill is in your hands. All you have to do is take it. Because, The Bachelor is a great example. Eventually I'm going to get off of here. I don't want this video to be too long, and I know it might be difficult to listen to, but if you've made it this far, I just want to let you know I love you. Alright? So, The Bachelor is a great example of all of the wrong that's happening in this society. It shows children, virtually, and young women, to be specifically, that every man is going to be able to provide like that show shows. Because like he was saying, as soon as that show's over, and that man and woman, and this may not be 100% true all the time, but that man and woman may go back. It's like if I went on The Bachelor, alright, and started going out on these fancy dates just based on looks, and, talk a little bit as it goes on and on and on. Man, if that lady came back to my house, she'd open the refrigerator and there'd be like 1 gallon of milk and a pack of hamburger meat, one of those like 5-pound things, hamburger meat that I've been trying to thaw out for like 4 days now. It won't thaw. And like 3 canned goods and beans and rice for 2 weeks. And a guy with no job, no money. Hell, I don't even have pictures hanging on my wall. I don't even sleep on my bed because my couch is more comfortable. There's holes all in my cabinets and my walls. Like, it just goes to show you that what you present out in public is false. It's not truly who you are because we're taught that we have to act a certain way in public. So just think about that. If you have a question, let me know. If you don't have a question, I don't want to be shameless. I don't give a shit if you subscribe. I'm just trying to get different perspectives and thoughts and ideas out there. That's all that I'm trying to do. It's all that I feel that I need to do. So do your thing, folks. Remember, if you made it this far, I love you. Thanks for sticking around through the morning rambles. Cloachy Bogmarsh out.